Welcome to Art Tightrope Walking. This is the first episode in a new series of videos resulting from a collaboration between Amplify Results Consulting and Rentouch. In this series, we aim to give you some ideas and hints and tips of how to cope with distributed release trains. My name is Ian J. Franks and I'll be your host for this series. In this first episode, we're talking about preparing for PI planning, and more specifically about the weighted shortest jobs first prioritization process. Art Tightrope Walking with me, Ian J. Franks, resulting from a collaboration between Amplify Results Consulting and Rentouch. Now, if you're lucky enough to have your product managers and your architects all based in the same location, then obviously this exercise is best run as a face-to-face exercise, as all agile ceremonies are. But if you don't have that luxury and you haven't been able to plan and schedule ahead so that everybody can travel just for the WSJF session, then you're going to need to find another way to cope with this. One of the ways I've managed this in the past is to set up some kind of collaboration tool, such as Trello, where you can then have all of your features sitting ready for the team to work together, even though they're in different locations. The best way to help you have some success with your PI planning event is to schedule the date well in advance. Quite often this is used as one of the last PBR sessions, or Program Backlog Refinement sessions. So if you can get that set up in everybody's diaries, you may get the luxury of being able to have everybody travel and co-locate. Because this ceremony is obviously best done with people in the same room. You cannot beat people assigning the cost of delay and the relative values, working together and moving pieces of paper around on a table. One of the ways that I've had success in the past doing this is to use a collaboration tool such as Trello and create a card for each of the features, and then use that across a distributed meeting so that the product managers and the architects can work together to move the items around electronically, just as they would if they were all in the same room. When I set these boards up, I like to have the values assigned after we've decided on the relative estimations, and therefore I tend to set them up with a small, smaller, smallest type categorization, rather than having the numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. And then I will assign the numbers afterwards. That tends to help avoid the issue of everybody wanting theirs to be a higher number immediately. So that's one of the tips for working with this. So the key to doing this distributed WSJF session is to get a bit of time spent on doing the setup. So you'll see on the screen here an example of a Trello board I've used in the past, where I can take an extract from Jira and upload via an Excel so that we get all of our features in here. The color coding on this is just giving some indication of which features belong together here, which products that they're supporting. You can use this in any way that you wanted, whatever fields are relevant to you or mean something to your organization. I also recommend that you set up 4 different boards and use a different color. So you've got one to represent your user or business value, one for time criticality, and so on. Because there's a chance working remotely that someone's on the wrong board. I would also recommend that not only do you color code them, you lock the boards you're not using them, unlock them one at a time so that there's no mistakes of somebody working on the wrong board. Having taken the time to do the setup, I then would work with the group and try and facilitate this just as if they were all in the same room, where everybody has access to move and drop around the cards between the different categories that I put there. And as I said, I tend to use small, large, medium, rather than any kind of numbering at this stage. You'll soon see that after a period of time, people have slowed down, and the pieces of paper with the cards representing each of the features are settling into one area or another. And at this point, obviously, you probably call it an end to the discussion, and you start to addressing any anomalies or any challenges that people have, so that you can settle on a business value in the first instance for each of the features, and then close and seal this board, and then rinse and repeat. Open this up for the next value for time criticality and repeat the exercise. Having completed this, afterwards you can assign the numbering, and then you've got some values to be able to calculate your WSJF. That's our tip for how to handle WSJF when you're working with remote teams, but I'm sure you've tried other things in the past. So if you've got other ideas that have worked, we'd love to hear from you. Do let us know, and maybe we can all help to collaborate a bit better and work easier with distributed teams. Thanks very much, and until the next episode, stay safe.